Good morning and welcome to Morning Coach Today. I am so glad you're with us. Hey, it's JB. Super pumped that you're here. We are rocking and rolling today. It is a Monday. 4798 is the episode number, and it is November 28th, 2022. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving holiday and you are ready to go because we are getting ready to blast off and get ready for 2023. This is the time. This is when we really get rolling with things. Super excited to get organized, figure out which system's best for you, and get after it. And that's what we're going to start doing as we start getting into December. And of course, keeping our wonderful topics rocking and rolling as always. And we love to do that, right? So this week we've got the plan. We're going to talk about what is time. We're going to spend a little bit of time. We've got a little bit of a breakaway week. This is like a week 5, which is always fun because I get to pick a fun topic, and we're going to rock what is time today. Tomorrow we're going to finish our book, the book study Essentialism, the Discipline and Pursuit of Less, chapter 15 through 20. And excited to announce we have a member, Dave Maxfield. I had mentioned we're going to do his book next, which is called Up Your HRV, Improving the North Star Metric of Your Health and Fitness. I've got the book on Kindle. I just ordered the paperback. Excited to have it. Dave is actually a Morning Coach member. Has been here a while, and it's exciting to have somebody that's in our community to write a book and to especially talk about HRV a little bit. We're going to go through that book and a little bit more of another one too. I told you we're going to start accelerating our book studies a little bit. Not that you have to read all of them. Again, I'm going to bring you good energy with those book studies on Tuesdays, but we're going to hit this one hard. And again, I'm looking to learn more about HRV too. So it's exciting. In case you don't know, HRV is that metric that, your Apple Watch is studied, the Whoop, if you're wearing that, the Oura Ring, to really understand your recovery. We're going to get into that pretty heavy with Dave's book. And maybe we'll have Dave tell us a few things about it too, since he is in our community, which could be pretty cool. I'll get with Dave. He listens every day, and we'll see if he can put something together for us. So that'll be great. And that's starting not this next Tuesday, but the following Tuesday. Wednesday, we're talking about the past does not equal the future. Always a good topic. Thursday, of course, I answer your questions. And then we go on to Friday, which we talk making time to plan in the present. We'll talk a little bit about that today, but again, we'll get into it Friday. Saturday, organizing time. What does that mean? And then on Sunday, it's our championship Sunday for our pro golfers. And then for all of us that aren't pro golfers, it's about wonder and spiritual time. So we've got a great, great week planned here at Morning Coach. Super pumped. I always love this idea of time. As you know, I studied this a lot when I was doing my PhD in metaphysics. It's one of the things I really got into was the understanding the psychology of time. What does it really mean? And then understanding how it equates to stress level and everything that's happening. And the more that I'm learning, even about HRV, which is great that Dave's bringing his book to us, is that there's this concept of time and how it flows when you're under stress, okay? And understanding the psychological effects of time, recognizing the importance of time. Why do we really need to understand what time is? Because it's going to affect our life in many ways. And specifically when we start to plan. And what we're going to be doing together, right, is getting our organizational structure together. Well, that's really important to understand how time affects us. How does it really work? And understanding that is really critical. And the first thing, let's have a quick discussion about it. And before we do, just so you know, some of you that have been with me a while have heard this story, but Eckhart Tolle, when I first read his book, The Power of Now, is when I started to realize time. It's before I started my PhD, and I started to really understand this idea of the psychological ideas of time. I had never even thought about it before grabbing this book. But, I had done all the work. I'd, listened to Tony Robbins and, Zig Ziglar, and of course, all the wonderful teachers, Les Brown, Brian Tracy, and all that information that I've gotten and was very successful in the eyes of society. But as I was sitting in an office chair, in my office, just dreading life, I wasn't happy in my own life. And there was a lot of guilt that was associated to that, being blue collar and having a family that worked in factories pretty much primarily their entire life. And I was doing these cool things in aerospace, the guilt of saying, hey, you need to settle. was part of it, but I knew there was a better way to live, and I never really looking at the deeper aspects of the spiritual side of things. And so, that book really opened my eyes. There was a book by Lynn Taro that I also read. What happened was an entrepreneur was actually wanting me to come into his company, and he was giving me these spiritual books. He went to Science of the Mind. He was from Guatemala, and it really helped open me up. It really was like, wow, there's so much more to this than what I've been living, this life that I've been living. And as I had this kind of awakening to these new areas, time really started to stick out, and I started to study time. And that's when I went out and looked for, how could I study to learn more about this? And I found this PhD program that I jumped in and spent years and years, studying all these different works and spirituality and business and the psychology of time and understanding the flow of it and how powerful it can be, and really understanding the past, the future, and the present and what those each mean. And that's what I want to go over today, especially when it comes to planning and organizing our life, okay? So the past, if you really look at it, the past does not exist. It's not real. It's just memory trace. It's what you believe of it. And one of the things that worries me about social media and the algorithms and cognitive dissonance is so many people hear the same things over and over again that they don't have any ability to critically think, and they can actually shift their past. Like, you can shift your past. If you hear it enough, it's kind of like the old quote, if you say a lie enough, it becomes reality, right? Have you ever heard that before? If you say a lie enough, it becomes reality. Well, same thing with your past. If somebody continually repeats stuff over and over, it digs into your psyche, and eventually that past is memory trace. That's what it is. So it's like you can change your perception of what occurred. And I've mentioned this before in previous Coachcasts, but me and you might have just had the exact same experience. Let's say we went to the Louvre in Paris and we went to look at the Mona Lisa, right? And as we're staring at the Mona Lisa, your experience is in awe and beauty and just joy that you're in that experience. And my experience is, what is that? And that was truly my experience. My experience was kind of like, God, you got to be kidding me. What is this? Just a picture of a woman, right? I was trying to appreciate it. I really was. And Pilar was like, oh, this is so cool. What a feeling of history. And, so her experience of that experience was totally different than mine, right? It couldn't be any different. It was black or white, right? There's no middle ground there. I mean, there was totally different experiences. And that's what life is like. Like, when you're living, you don't know what somebody else is experiencing, right? So that past is real. It's just memory trace in your mind, which makes it not really real anymore, right? So it can be manipulated, and we've got to be very cautious of that. That's why I'm very cautious. As you know, we aren't therapists, and I believe in therapy, and I believe in licensed therapists, but I caution you to go to the right therapist, because if you get the wrong therapist, they can actually harm you, right? Because they can supplant things in your mind and get you thinking a certain way, and we got to be very cautious of that, okay? And that's why we've got to protect our mental kingdom. You'll hear me scream that so much, that you're the king of the kingdom. Let's protect that kingdom, and don't let people get in there. And when you do let people in, make sure it's the right person so they aren't messing things up in there. So the past is not really real. It's memory trace. It's this perception of an idea of things, okay? That's the first thing. The second thing that we talk about is the future. And the future is pretty easy to discuss because it's not real. It's not in existence. It hasn't happened yet. Is it going to happen? Yes, but it'll be really the continuum of a moment. It won't be what we believe it to be, right? So many people have issues with the future. They have worry, they have stress, they have anxiety. Should we worry about the future? Of course, we need to prepare for the future, but the truth is it's not reality. It's going to be this moment then. So when we're planning for a moment that's going to occur in time. And this is really important to understand when you're starting to build out your structure and your plan. And I think that's why we're different, right? A lot of people are planning for the future without really getting clear and present about what's important. And that's why this discussion is so important as we start December and we really get into our planning, because it's about planning and clarity. My life from last December's plan to now is totally 100% different. I mean, I did a 180. If I think about it, I was in Florida and I wasn't working on my pilot's license yet. I'd started in March, but I was planning on different things. Like, it was a totally different plan. And now all of a sudden I have a retreat center. I'm working with marketing teams and just it's totally opposite of what I thought. And so now my plan is getting restructured based on what? Based on the present moment. And that's where the power is. Remember, you heard me talk about Get Out of Neutral was my book, and I love that first book, but it was going to be called A Return to Power. That was really what it was about. And the idea was to understand what I had learned in that short time period of studying for my PhD in metaphysics was this idea that to get out of neutral, to get unstuck, we needed to get clear about what it is we were going to do, but we couldn't get clear in the future. And that was the big disconnect, because so many people are thinking about the future instead of thinking about today and what are the things that are really going to have the maximum impact on life. So when we talk about our book, Essentialism, it's the same thing. Instead of focusing on the jet, maybe I need to focus on a Cessna 152 and what can I do to move me closer to the jet, if that's what I want, so from a material perspective. But a lot of times it's just like having a better relationship with your 12-year-old daughter. And that's why Get It Done Now is so important, and why we're engaging and working together on a daily basis is because the idea is we have to get present. And the majority of the time, the secret is we aren't. I teach this, and it's a struggle for me. Okay, that's why meditation is so important. Retreats are so important. It brings you back. That's why I'm so excited about where I'm at, because my work is going to get so much better because now I'm in a place of rest. Not right now, just a secret. This house is tore up. We're getting floors done and offices put in and spas put in and saunas and craziness. And my office is turned upside down. I don't even have an office right now. But it's going to be there. It's going to be there by 2023, right? But and that's the truth is that finding that space that essentialism talks about to be able to be creative, that rest, to be able to say, okay, where am I at in the present moment, and then be creative to get me there without getting so far ahead of ourselves. And most people, the majority of people, don't take the time to do this. They don't take the time to think about a system. They don't integrate a system in, and then they metaphysically get lost, and they're sending mixed messages. So we step back to the metaphysical. Right? It's like you're sending all these mixed messages out because you're not clear in the present moment. And that's why time is the most important thing. It's even more important than money, because the way we utilize it, the way we utilize now, not the future, not the past, but the way we utilize now is incredibly valuable. Okay? And so my job here every day is to remind you of that, because you're going to slide. And remember, the journal is a great indicator of that. The Get It Done Now planner is a great indicator of that. You may have used the Sacred Six, wrote down some notes a couple times, and then all of a sudden you didn't plan. I'll give you a great example of that. In October, I think it was October 29th, I put a journal entry in. My next journal entry was November 21st, okay? So what happened in that time? I got so busy that I didn't journal, and I look back, and yeah, I accomplished some things, but I really wasn't present in those moments. There was so much going on. Neo got sick. I was supposed to travel, and man, my life got turned upside down. The house and that's okay. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh my gosh, what happened there? I'm a human being. And so I wasn't perfect in my system. But what happens is, utilizing a system like Get It Done Now with the journaling and the structure, what it does is it reframes everything and be like, okay, slow down. It's okay. I can pat myself on the back and say, you're alive. It's okay. No more stress. It's okay. Don't stress out. It's fine. What are we going to do from here? And that means getting present, realizing that past is gone. It's gone. Maybe I didn't journal on those days. Maybe it was a month of just craziness. Maybe it was worry, anxiety, whatever it was, it's gone. It's all in my head in the way that I see it. And that's where we talked about last week a little bit, where nostalgia kicks in, right? So now I can think about, wow, man, I almost lost Neil. I better love him. I better enjoy those walks instead of rushing him back to the house to get the coach cast done. I better enjoy this process. And that's really what we're talking about here. And bringing it all together is that what we do then is we get in the moment. And as we get in the moment, we can be in the moment. But we're going to need reminders along the way, because it's just not where we live. We live in our minds. We are egoic, intellectual creatures. And the smarter you are, the more you're in your head, and the more we need to get out of your head once in a while. So we need to focus on that. And that's what's going to relieve the pressure, is to get organized and understand what we're trying to accomplish by getting out of your head. And then getting some ideas and thoughts on paper or in an Evernote system or in some structure. That's what we're going to be doing together. So the idea is, what is time? Well, the time is this moment. It's now. It's the most valuable currency. It's what we can use in the present. They call it the present because it's a gift. It truly is a gift. It's a moment that we have, just like we're sharing this moment together. To me, it's extremely valuable that you're here. Why? Because it's a gift. It's a gift that you're taking time to listen to my message. Why? Because time is the most valuable currency. I believe in that. And that's why I believe in you. We just got to utilize our time to get our structure and organization together. And that's what we're going to be doing, okay? So understanding time is today's concept, today's idea. Realize the past can be manipulated. Understand the future is not existent. This moment is what we've got, and the future is the continuum of the now. This is very deep discussion. It's metaphysical, but it's very powerful because we're going to use it in our planning. As we're working on our mission for 2023, I want you to be thinking about the moment, not the future. Does that make sense? And getting really organized around that, and that's going to change that continuum. Okay, so get out there, have a fantastic day. I love you. We're going to finish Essentialism tomorrow, and we got a great week this week. So don't miss every day. Get here. Let's be together. Let's stay on task, and let's stay focused on living your best life. I love you. Go do it to it. I'll see you right here tomorrow on morningcoach.com. You made it to the end. That is so awesome. Listen, now is the time to join this amazing coaching program. Meet amazing people, get the structure that you need, work with me on a daily basis. And here's what's crazy. We have such low rates in the industry that this is just what you need to take advantage of. I mean, right now is the time. There's never been a better time to join morningcoach.com, but you need to commit to it. Get here 3 to 5 times a week. Listen to morningcoach.com and really take on the planner and the structure and the organization and live your best life. We're here. I'm here. The community's here to help serve you and help you become the best that you can possibly be. 2 options over there. One is Ignite. That's for you if you're just in corporate, want to just kind of organize yourself and get going. If you're somebody that's an entrepreneur, Freedom is the track that you need to go. Just click the Join Now button and you can get started today. All right, let's see you over there at morningcoach.com, and I can't wait to start working with you.